Hi, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the neckline. So I'm wearing my Comfort Pullover and it has a relatively wide and deep neckline. But I know that not everybody likes a neckline quite this wide or this deep. So I thought I'd talk about how to make some modifications because it's a very modifiable construction. So after you've worked the shoulders, there's a cast on to join the two. So what you could do is just cast on fewer stitches. So what's happening is that that's making the back neck narrower, right? Because you're casting on fewer stitches. And I would recommend, if you're going to do this, to remove an even number of stitches just so that this will still work the way it needs to. But what it is also going to impact is the width of the shoulder, right? The cross shoulder measurement from here to here, because if the center is narrower and this is still the same width, this gets shifted over. So what we want to do then is maybe work a few more increases so that we still get to the same final cross shoulder width. And we also want to do that if we don't want to impact the bust circumference. And then you can work the armhole shaping just like it's written in the pattern. If you wanted it to be symmetrical with the back, then you would remove an increase. So if you remove 2 stitches, you'll skip 1 increase on each side. If you remove 4 stitches, you'll remove 2 increases from each side, and so on. Okay, so let's look at my little construction overview section here. This is a step where we've finished the back neck shaping, and then we start by casting on. So here, cast on for the back neck, and then we start working all the shoulder increases here, right? So if we want to cast on fewer stitches, let's move this in. What's going to happen is it's going to move everything in, right? Okay, so purple is going to be what our new shape looks like. So let's say that we're going to cast on 4 fewer stitches. That'll bring in each side of the neckline by 2 stitches. So in total, those 4 stitches, that's going to be about 3/4 of an inch that we're making the total neckline shorter, less wide, more narrow. There we go, that's the word. So if we're looking here, I've drawn it in, but what that means is that the entire cross shoulder is now also 3/4 of an inch shorter, more narrow. Then we need to add some increases in the shoulder so that our final cross shoulder measurement is still the same as it originally was. So we're going to add 2 increases for each shoulder because we removed 4, so we need to add 2 to each shoulder in the back and the front. And now what's changed is that this is narrower, but the cross shoulder measurement is the same. So, great. And then that means that you can do all the armhole shaping exactly as written in pattern, and we don't nearly need to mess with that. The next thing to think about is the neckline increases. So we removed 4 here. So to make these symmetrical, we'll have to remove 2 increases from each side of this neckline. Let's look at the progress charts here. This is size 2. You can see the neckline increases in the neck column here. So we want to remove 2. If you also want to remove some length from the front neckline, then you can shift that up a little bit. So let's say that we decide to skip the last two neckline increases, and so we would be joining, instead of on round 29, we would join the neckline on round 25, which then means that on round 25, you will join the neckline as written for round 29. It has the same 2 sleeve increases and 2 body increases as round 29. So you can basically just follow the instructions for round 29, knowing that your stitch counts are going to be slightly different because you'll have worked 2 fewer sleeve increases and looks like 4 fewer body increases on round 24. So you do round 25, and then when you get to round 27, you have a resting round on 26. On round 27, you're going to not be working an increase round for the neck, but you will be working increases on the body. And then round 29, instead of casting on, you're already working in the round. So you're going to work your increases for the sleeve and your increases for the body. And then you'll just work everything else as written. If you wanted to keep the neckline depth the way that it was, but you want to work 2 fewer neckline increases, I would remove the neckline increase on round 19 and on round 23. That'll make it so that you have this every 4th row increase a little bit longer and then just a few every round right here. And that's it. That's how you can modify the neckline and make it a little bit narrower or a little bit shorter, or whatever your preference is. As always, if you need help with any modifications, feel free to email me. It's in all my patterns. My email address is right there. Go ahead and email me. I usually respond fairly quickly, and I'm more than happy to walk you through modifications or any other questions that you might have about the pattern.